Hi, my name is Anthony.
Hi, I'm Danny.
I'm
Hello,
Levi.
I'm Moesha.
I'm Nikki.
Hi, I'm Mo. Have you ever tried to study when you're hungry? Or take a test when you have skipped meals? Or get to a class when you're hungry? You challenge brain fog and fatigue as you trench through your classwork. It has been proven that we function way better when we have eaten a balanced, healthy meal, yet college students are notorious for imbalanced eating. Ironically, proper nutrition may be the key component to our success in our education and classes, and more important than you know. Now, in order to understand the importance of nutrition to your brain, I'll explain what nutrients it needs and why, what happens when it doesn't get these proper nutrients, and what happens when it receives harmful substances instead. Now, the brain requires certain nutrients to function properly and build new connections, and it requires a lot of energy. Your brain only counts for about 2% of your total body composition, yet it requires about 20% of all nutrients that you put in it. Now, the brain's main source of energy is glucose, and glucose is basically the simplest form of sugar that you get from carbs. So it's necessary to eat carbs or foods that can be turned into glucose in order to feed your brain. You also need essential fatty acids and amino acids, which are basically the building blocks of fat and protein. These are needed to make new connections and transfer important information between your brain cells. Along with this, your brain also needs vitamins and minerals to absorb these necessary nutrients properly. The most important being vitamin B, vitamin C, magnesium, iron, and zinc. But what happens when the brain doesn't get these proper nutrients? Well, it leads to the common condition known as malnutrition. Now, malnutrition doesn't necessarily mean that you're starving. Actual malnutrition is defined as deficiencies, excesses, or imbalances of the proper nutrients. It's a common issue in both underweight and overweight people. Malnutrition can have detrimental effects at all stages of life. In infant children, it can halt their brain development and lead to learning disabilities. And older people, it leads to faster deterioration of the brain and more cognitive impairment issues. But what about young, assumably healthy adults? Well, even minor malnutrition problems can negatively affect our ability to think properly, our memory, our problem-solving skills, and learning new things. It's also linked to depression, fatigue, introversion, and self-neglect. Even physical malnutrition can indirectly cause mental impairment. Like when you're hungry and can't focus on that test, that's called hypoglycemia, which means that your body does not have enough glucose or fuel to function properly, and it causes the brain fog, trouble focusing, dizziness, and confusion. Now, as mentioned, you can also toxify the brain by feeding it too much of the wrong things. The main culprit to this is junk food and fast food, and it's okay to eat these in moderation. However, along with bringing you physical illnesses and earlier death, it also causes damage to your psyche. Processed and fast food are known contributors to mental illness, especially depression. But why is junk food and fast food so good? And why can't we seem to quit it even though we know it's very bad for us? Well, because sugar and fat triggers the release of dopamine in your brain. Dopamine is basically the chemical in your brain that makes you happy and forms pleasing habits. The brain eventually adapts to your fast food diet and requires more and more dopamine to be released in order to make you feel happy. So therefore, you end up eating more and more junk food and fast food in order to get that same pleasing feeling. It also impairs a part of the brain that controls our decision making, causing more impulsive decisions. This is why you typically end up eating an entire box of cookies and chips versus one or two, because junk food and fast food cause a similar addiction that's very similar to drug addiction. So now we know what the brain needs, why it's so important, and what can hurt it if we're not careful. Now more than ever, nutrition needs to be of extreme importance here in the US. Improper diet and obesity is now the #1 killer here in the US, not smoking. And half the US population, including children, has an imbalanced diet right now. The link between improper nutrition and lower education levels continues to rise. This is why I've decided to talk to you guys about nutrition and how important it is to your mind today. If more people are educated about proper nutrition, we can use it to provide a better quality of life for ourselves and our families. Thank you.
Yay.
Yay, so good.
That's good.
Great, baby.
Thank you,
No,
We're
guys.
talking about depression and fast food, and I'm just like, man, me. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to end this because that's the only, oh wait, no, I can pause it.
no, you can stop the recording down at the bottom.